So Olive was like, oh, I'm gonna need you to like PayPal me the money and I'll pay you back, because he said that like Africa, like the African organization of money, currency or whatever, froze all him and his dad's account.
Spend it, baby, spend it, baby, on me. Spend it, baby, spend it. Prada and on me.
Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Codenamechanel, and I'm back, but clearly I'm back with a fucking story time. I know you guys are probably thinking, oh my god, no, Chanel, not the Tinder swindler. He only really scammed white women. But still, I have a story to tell. And if you wait for me to put on my lip gloss, hold on, just wait for me to put on my lip gloss. All right, you guys, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to give this video, okay. Anyway, if you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, then you know, like I know, it's all love. So let's get into this. So I know you guys are probably thinking like, oh my god, you really let that Poindexter scam you? But it really wasn't him. It was some dude I met off of PLF. But this is a really good story, y'all, and it's juicy. And I've always wanted to tell it because honestly, I had some POF or horror stories. This was back in the day when I used to use POF, and like literally avoid POF at all costs. If you're using POF now with all the dating apps, with all the people that are now in the world, because you know back then it wasn't that many people, but now there are so many people in the world and you're still using POF, I could just only assume that you like poverty, anger, aggression. This is what happened. So I met this guy. We're gonna call him, because I was just eating some olives. Let's just call him Olive. So I met this guy. His name was Olive, right? Now, immediately, like, I knew that he was flashy, which most scammers are. Like, even like pyramid scammers, people, like, they're super flashy. They got like the Rolex, the Rollies, like all that or whatever. So I met him, and he was telling me like, oh yeah, like, you know, he'll spoil me, give me all these things or whatever. Spoil you, I want to get you a new iPhone, I want to, you know, so he did end up getting me a new phone. But that's what scammers do, y'all. They give a little bit. So it can be like, oh wow, they give a little bit and they love bomb. Listen, y'all, because it gets crazy. So Olive, like, he got me an iPhone or whatever. This was like after 2 days of meeting. And really, I didn't consider it as a finesse, because he told me that it was brand new and that it was from T-Mobile. But then I found out that the phone was really from AT&T. Then he was like, oh, T-Mobile sent him the wrong phone because, but I said, I look like, because he told me, Oliver told me, he was like, he went into the store to get the phone. So T-Mobile sent him an AT&T phone. That's when I knew that there was like extreme red flags with him, right? So then he told me that his dad was like an African king, like a legend in Africa. He was like, and I was like, okay, what's his name so I could look him up? And he was like, oh, his dad's not on the internet, like nothing. Like I could never like look his dad up or whatever, right? But I had already looked him up, y'all, because that's what the fuck I do. So I already looked him up, and I didn't see anything about him being royalty, but he said that his dad was like super, super private about it or whatever. So I said, okay. He was like, my dad like covered his identity and changed his name and like forced him to move America, and I guess be poor because it really didn't have shit going for him. Also, he told me that the car that he had, okay, so he was driving a Challenger, right? He was like, oh, my Rolls Royce is parked at the house. I don't bring my Rolls Royce out. Chanel, don't worry about it. The Rolls Royce will be out soon. And it's like, I don't really care or whatever. But okay, whatever. So then about time, like, you know, me and my friends are just like making fun of him at this point because we knew that he was a scammer. So we were out and about or whatever, right? And y'all, this is about to get, it gets crazy. Like, oh my god, my story times are always so crazy. Forgive me. So it gets crazy. So he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna call, so we were out and about. This is like at the mall or something like that. He was like, oh, I'm gonna call his brother or whatever, right? Another African prince. And he's like, I'm gonna call this African prince up here, because it was me, him, and my homegirl. So he was like, I'm gonna call this other, you know, my brother up here. He's an African prince. He's gonna come over. So his brother came up there looking very much like, just like a scammer or Atlanta scammer or whatever. He didn't look like an African prince or anything. Okay, so he gets there or whatever, right? So we go to like this jeweler place or whatever, and they're like, oh, get whatever you want or whatever. And like me and my friend is like, okay, cool, whatever. Like we picked out some things or whatever, but we both looked at each other like, Anyway, so he's like, pick out some things, whatever, right? So we get there, and he's like, oh, he tells the other African Prince 2. We'll call him African Prince 2, and then we'll call Olive. So Olive was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna need you to like PayPal me the money or whatever, and I'll pay you back, because he said that like Africa, like the African organization of money, currency or whatever, froze all him and his dad's account because like the government is after them. So very much giving Tinder swindler. So this was like in front of me, like right in front of me. And I was like, oh my God, like, yeah, like, what do I have to do? Like, how do I PayPal you? And then like me and my homegirls looked at each other like, okay. was like, how to pay? Oh, and I was like, you know what? Let me go get my bank card information so I could add it because I left it in my car. And then me and my homegirl leave and like I never see him again. Or so I thought. So after that, like leaving him, and this is not my first time leaving a motherfucker who don't got no money and card is good to cut, because you're in this game and everybody, you can meet somebody like you. You can literally see a finesser like in your face in the mirror, because game knows game, okay? A bullshitter knows a bullshitter. Like game knows game, and you're looking unfamiliar because that's not even game. Like nobody's PayPaling you anything. Like, and I just left them there, and it's really embarrassing because you like had us ring up all this stuff. So anyway, I'm thinking that's it. Like months go by, I don't talk to him. Keep in mind, y'all, it moved pretty fast. He got me a phone like the second day that I met him or whatever. And keep in mind, you guys, that was my secondary phone. I never used it to like really contact people because I just felt like any moment like somebody would come and be like, hey, that's a stolen phone from AT&T, T-Mobile, or whatever the fuck he said it was from. So months had passed by, and my homegirl was like, you remember those guys that we were at the mall with? And I was like, yeah, I remember them, like, you know. And then she was like cracking up. She was like, guess what? I saw him the other day. And I was like, oh, really? And she was like, guess who I saw him with? So my homegirl said she saw him with this girl. We'll call her like Annie. So she was like, oh yeah, I saw him with Annie or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. Like,
all right.
You know, whatever. And then like a few weeks later, you guys, Annie had posted about like, she was like, I didn't know if I was gonna do this. And y'all, she posted on Instagram, not Facebook, where all the real drama should be. And this is before TikTok, where people could do their story time, because I promise you that'd be a really good story time with her. But my other homegirl was like, I tried to warn Annie, but Annie was not listening to me. So Annie posted on her Instagram, she was like, I wasn't sure. You know how people do post when they about to like post something embarrassing. I wasn't sure if I was gonna even say this or say anything like this. But this guy, and she tagged all of the scammers. This guy stole money out of my bank account. He took my car. I don't know where my car is at. It's been missing for 2 weeks. This is my license plate. He stole like jewelry from my house and he gave it to another woman and all this other stuff. And now she was like, I'm in debt for $25,000.
Hold on, wait. Oh my God.
But I mean, she said like a lower number than that, but I want to be dramatic with this story. So yeah, she said 25,000. So I was like, oh my God, that is so fucked up. So I was really upset. And then I guess my homegirl told Annie to DM me. Why? I don't know. But Annie's like, do you know where his whereabouts is? I'm like, girl, I have not talked to this man. I've hung out with him like 3 times. Like, he's really like, yeah, he's really literally like the POF swindler, okay? And keep in mind, you guys, so anyway, after like she DMs me or whatever like that, that was it for our conversation. Never said anything else. So I hang out with this other guy who's really cool or whatever. And he's like, hey, like, do you want to come with me to an engagement party? And I'm like, duh, like, I'm all the way down or whatever, right? So I was like, oh yeah, that's cool or whatever. And he was like, yeah, this is my homeboy. He has money. Like, he's decking his girl out. Him and his girl's been rocking for like years, all these things or whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna get dressed up or whatever. He was like, I'm gonna send you money to go get your makeup done, all this or whatever, right? At the time, I didn't have my car because my car was in the shop. So I asked my other homegirl, I'm like, hey, could you pick me up or whatever? Because my car is in the shop and, you know, I'm going to this engagement party or whatever. And then she was like, because, you know, I don't let people pick me up from my address at all. I don't let people pick me up at all. Anyway, she was like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna come too or whatever. So, like, I really didn't invite her, but then she's like, she's not just gonna drop me off like a damn Uber. I don't even think, was there Uber at the time? I think there was Uber. So she was like, yeah, I'm gonna come too. Is that cool? And I was like, yeah, come along, right? So when we get into there, to my surprise or whatever, like the place was like packed. I think it was like a Thursday night, Nick and Sam's, packed. So we get into Nick and Sam's, and it's like a 5-star. It is a 5-star restaurant. But it's not that. Nick and Sam's is interesting. I was like, say the least. There's some daddies in there, but yeah. So we get into there, and the guy that I know, he's not there yet. And I didn't want to like walk up to the, you know, engagement party or anything like that. Like, because I seen it, I assumed that was it because everybody was wearing all white and that's what they told us to wear. After that, so once the guy gets there or whatever, the guy that I'm, you know, hanging out with, he gets there, he's like, hey, yeah, like the party's over here, da da da. And then they're like, oh, the groom hasn't, you know, made it yet or whatever, right? So I know y'all think y'all know where this is going. I know y'all thinking like, but it's not, that's not where the fuck is going. Cause peep this. So they're like, oh yeah, like the fiance or whatever, he hasn't made it yet or whatever, but this is the wife or whatever. And then the guy that I was with, the guy that was with, he was friends with the guy, but he was also friends with the girl, so he knew her or whatever, right? So I'm like, hey, blah, 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 right? So time goes by, we're eating, we're having a blast, but it got kind of awkward because the fiance is still not here, right? As time go by or whatever, the dude was texting me. He's like, this is like the guy that I came with, and my homegirl. And I text my homegirl, and I'm like, I show her the text with the dude. She's like, she doesn't think the fiance is here. So the girl, she's like crying and stuff like that, right? So she gets up, she walks away. Her friends go after her, or whatever. And I was like, I just asked, I was like, what the guy look like? Like, what do he look like? So we could be on the lookout in case he comes. Who do y'all think they showed me? Who do y'all think they showed me? Who do y'all think they showed me? Olive. They showed me Olive.
I'm so sick of this bitch.
And so he shows me Olive, and I like, me and my homegirl looked at each other when we told him, like, at the same time, like, he's a scammer. Like, y'all, we said it in a unison. Like, we was like, he's a scammer. Like, nah, he's not a scammer. Like, I've been knowing him for years. They've been together for years. I'm like, no. Like, we're just like telling him, like, no, he's a scammer. So the girl, the fiance or whatever, she doesn't come back to the table. And then at this point, I'm like, okay, maybe we should just go because I doubt he's coming. I'm pretty sure, you guys, and it was never like really confirmed because they never got married. She never seen Olive again because I had asked the guy I came with, I was like, did he eventually show up? Because me and my homegirl left. And it was like, did he? And he was like, no, he never showed up or whatever. And I guarantee you guys, he finessed her, he scammed her, took some money, pretended like he was gonna propose to her. Then keep in mind, at the engagement party, she didn't even have a ring on. Like, I guarantee you she didn't have, like, no ring on, no indication. Like, it's super duper embarrassing. So, but I want to say this because people keep asking me, oh, talk about the Tinder Swindler. You always telling me to talk about something, and I try to talk about things. But I will say this about the whole fucking Tinder Swindler situation. Yeah, people's aunties, mamas, grandmas, grandpas, great aunties, all of them have sisters, sister-in-laws, god sisters, have been swindled since the beginning of time. Like, I was not surprised that this man was able to manipulate and swindle so many people in his life. Like, first off, he's like whitish, like, so there's that. Like, there's that. Like, I mean, when white people like get away with scams and stuff like that, like, I'm never shocked, I'm never amazed, like, I'm never like, oh my god, a magic trick. Like, it's like, I see it, I believe it, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Voila, what do we have, ladies? A fucking clown. We are a stupid bitch. We are a fucking clown. This is the final look, ladies.
They get away with a lot of shit, but for people to be like, oh my god, like, you need to tell the girls about the warning signs. You need to tell the girls about the warning. I cannot teach common sense. Like, if somebody is asking me, let me say something about me giving money. I don't give it out. I don't give it out. So if somebody's asking me for money and I don't give it out, how are they going to get it? I don't know. That's for you to decide, for me to never find out. Anyway, you guys, give this video a thumbs up if you like this story time, if y'all want some more story times. I'm trying to do like little quick story times because like the girlies like TikTok, I guess. But you know what? Really, I will do a long ass story time that y'all not even fucking prepared for. Join my Patreon if you need finesse tips. Follow me on Instagram, Codenamechanel, Snapchat, Chanel Kid Herb, and I'm out. Tell me if y'all ever had like a Tinder Swindler situation. I'm listening. And I'm out.